Somebody want to ask, are you saying that if I say, okay, let me marry the will of God for my life, I will not have any problem, I will not have any issues? You see, that's where we have a huge challenge. For a very long time, we have been teaching and preaching people to marry the will of God, marry the will of God, marry the will of God. But I think right now we need to begin to teach people how to live with the will of God. Living with the will of God is not the same as marrying the will of God. And it's the lack of this understanding that has made many perfect will of God marriages to crash. For example, if it is the will of God for you to have a car, will you like that? Is it a good thing? Let's say you don't know how to drive, and the will of God for you to have car manifest, and you got the car. Will you now say, well, because this car is the perfect will of God for me, nothing can go wrong. So you step into it, turn on the ignition, and press the throttle. What will happen? I think because it is the will of God, you saw it in a vision. An angel appeared to you that I'm going to give you a car. You came for service. A prophet that was invited that didn't know you was preaching that day. He called you out and said, God said he's going to give you a car. On your way home, you met a neighbor that is not even a Christian and said, I have a dream last night. I saw that you got a new car. Now, I think all this confirmation that shows that God's perfect will for you is to have a car and you don't know how to drive. If you step into the car and just start driving, since it came from God, I think the car should just begin to drive itself carefully. Do you need to learn how to drive it? Why? But I thought it is the will of God. Are you seeing how that the stupidity we will not try with other things, that is exactly what we do with marriage? Because we believe that since God knows me, he knows the kinds of things I like. He knows how I love to be treated. This man that he is bringing into my life, God has carefully chosen him to match exactly how I like to be treated. And since it is evidently clear that he is the will of God, God factored in all my fantasies, my desires, my feelings, and had brought this man. So this man should know what to do. I don't need to tell him anything. Is it not the will of God? Am I the one to tell him what to know or how to treat me? I hope I'm not telling anybody's story this morning. So why the sister has all this on her mind? The brother is also there. Since it was God that revealed her to me, God knows what I like. So I don't need to tell her what to do. She should know. So while she has her own definition of the will of God, he has his own definition of the will of God, and God in heaven that has the will. He is wondering at these two people because they had troubled him for long that they want what he wants. And he has now brought two of them together to achieve what he wants. So there are three different perspectives of what the will of God is. God has something that is his will. The man believes that it is his desires that is the will of God for him. And at the end of the day, there are three conflicting wills, tearing each other apart. And so we believe that if God lead me to marry who he wants me to marry, I don't need to learn how to live with the will. The same way God can have it in his will for you to own a car, but you don't come and sit behind the wheel and speak in tongues and shake your head and start the engine and start cruising. You need to go and learn manually how to drive so that you don't kill yourself and also hurt other people that you carry in the car. So we have marriages today, perfect will of God, but very ignorant, selfish people powering it.